The colony ship Endeavour had been orbiting Kepler 442b for exactly 17 days when Jessica Chen made first contact with the local fauna. The encounter wasn't documented in any official report, nor did it follow any of the xenobiological protocols that Dr. James Morrison had spent 3 years developing during their journey from Earth. It happened in the clearing near the southern perimeter, where the crimson grass grew waist-high, and the twin suns cast overlapping shadows that danced like living things. Jessica had removed her helmet, a violation of safety protocols that would have earned her a written reprimand, to better smell the alien flowers that bloomed in spiral patterns along the tree line. The air was breathable, rich with oxygen and something else, something that reminded her of petrichor and cinnamon. That's when she saw it. The creature was no larger than a terrier, covered in iridescent scales that shifted between deep purple and electric blue. 6 legs carried it in an awkward bounding gait, and its head was disproportionately large, crowned with what appeared to be sensory frills that flared and contracted with each breath. 3 eyes, arranged in a triangle, fixed on Jessica with unmistakable curiosity. And then it grabbed her helmet. The creature snatched the equipment with surprising dexterity, using what Jessica could only describe as manipulator appendages hidden beneath its throat. Before she could react, it took off, bounding through the grass with her 5,000 credit helmet clutched like a trophy. "Oh, you little..." Jessica started, then stopped herself. The creature paused about 20 meters away, turned to look at her and made a sound. Not a growl or a hiss, but something closer to a musical chirp. The frills around its head vibrated with what she could have sworn was pleasure. It wanted to play. Jessica glanced back at the research station, where James was undoubtedly hunched over his microscope, cataloging the 700th variation of local moss. She looked at the creature, now doing a small bounce. Helmet still firmly in its grasp, she made her decision. "All right, you win this round," she called out and started jogging after it. The creature took off like a shot, weaving between the towering fungi trees that dominated this part of the ecosystem. Jessica followed, her boots crushing luminescent spores that puffed up in clouds of green light. The creature was fast, but it kept pausing, looking back, waiting for her to catch up before darting away again. They ran for what felt like hours, but was probably only 20 minutes. The landscape shifted from grassland to a forest of crystalline structures that hummed with a low, resonant frequency. The creature bounded over obstacles with grace while Jessica stumbled and laughed, her lungs burning with the exertion and the pure joy of it. She hadn't felt this alive since leaving Earth. Finally, the creature led her to a den, a hollow carved into the base of a massive crystal formation. It ducked inside and Jessica could hear sounds from within, chirping, multiple voices higher pitched than her companion. Babies. Jessica crouched near the entrance, her heart rate finally beginning to slow. The adult emerged moments later without her helmet. It approached cautiously, those 3 eyes studying her with an intelligence that made her skin prickle. It came close enough to touch, and Jessica slowly extended her hand. The creature pressed its head against her palm. The scales were warm, and that gentle vibration from its frills traveled up her arm like a purr. "You're not a predator at all, are you?" Jessica whispered. "You're a parent, just protecting your babies." The creature chirped again, softer this time, and retreated into the den. Jessica stood, brushed the alien pollen from her suit, and began the walk back to the research station. She'd have to report the helmet as lost. Equipment malfunction, maybe. Take the reprimand. It was worth it. She found James exactly where she'd left him, though he was now at the computer terminal, entering data with the mechanical precision that made him an excellent scientist and a somewhat exhausting colleague. "You're back," he said without looking up. "Did you finish the atmospheric readings?" "Not exactly." Jessica dropped into the chair across from him. "James, what do we know about parental behavior in non-Earth species?" That got his attention. He looked up, eyes narrowing behind his glasses. "That's a broad question. Why?" "Because I think we've been approaching this all wrong." Jessica leaned forward, animated now, her hands painting pictures in the air. "We've been cataloging everything like it's a museum. Specimens, data points. But there's life here, James, real, complex, emotional life. Jessica, you know the protocols, and I met one of them today. A parent. It took my helmet, James, and I chased it. We played. It showed me its den, its children. It trusted me. James removed his glasses, cleaning them with his sleeve. His tell when he was processing something significant. You violated quarantine protocols. I did. You could have been exposed to unknown pathogens. I could have. You lost a 5,000 credit helmet. I did. Jessica smiled. And it was worth every credit. James stared at her for a long moment, then did something she'd never seen him do in 3 years of working together. He smiled. Tell me everything, he said, pulling up a fresh data file. And tomorrow we go back together. With proper protocols this time, but... He paused, choosing his words carefully. With the right perspective, these aren't specimens. They're neighbors. Jessica grinned. Now you're getting it? Outside, the twin suns set in a cascade of colors that Earth had never produced. In a den of crystal and light, a creature with iridescent scales and 3 curious eyes settled down to sleep, still guarding its strange, smooth trophy. And in the research station, 2 humans began to understand what it really meant to explore a new world. Not as conquerors or catalogers, but as guests learning the language of welcome, one playful chase at a time.